there was football last night, and you probably saw why Patrick Mahomes is the leading candidate for the MVP. Now you see the Chiefs full strength for the most part. Now, granted, you didn't have Jaden Daniels. That would have made, obviously, a little bit more of an impact. But you have Rashee Rice there, and that's a big difference. So you get Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. Now, all of a sudden, you got to deal with, speed. Jason Kelce doesn't have to do much. His role is, or Travis Kelce, his role is more of like Gronk late in his Patriots career, where Brady only wanted him there for the postseason and in the red zone. That's it. And maybe that's what you'll get out of Travis Kelce. But watching last night, he did have a touchdown. But that's not what their offense is really predicated on. It's still, I got guys that I can make plays with now, and Mahomes was great. He was. He's great. He keeps plays alive. And it's one of those, you see these younger players trying to do that. They're just not as well equipped as Mahomes is. You can keep it alive, and then you have to all of a sudden say, all right, I'm going to call this off. Or I might throw it away. I might run for a little bit. He's not scrambling. He's just keeping it alive. And I think there's a big, and I'm going to talk to Steve Young about that next hour. Keeping a play alive, but also not scrambling around and trying to hold the ball for 5 or 6 seconds. That's when you get in trouble. That's when you take sacks. But watching Mahomes, and I know it's not the same thing as Ohtani, but you are watching something incredibly special. He's not going to be the greatest quarterback of all time unless he wins more Super Bowls than Brady or is equal to Brady. It's kind of what we did to LeBron. He's not passing Michael, therefore he's not going to be greater in people's minds. But you're watching Mahomes play a position, the toughest position in all of sports to play, and playing it differently than anybody else in the league. And he is the one great he is Mariano Rivera when it comes to quarterbacking and closing out a game, keeping a play alive, all of those great things. Now, has he been roughed up, embarrassed in a couple of Super Bowls? He has. But when you see him play at a very high level, it's a treat. Because I can go back to seeing Joe Namath play, Johnny Unitas late in his career, all of those quarterbacks, Bart Starr, guys in the 60s. And to see the transformation of the quarterbacking position, to watch the evolution of that, it's great. And I got into this business because I loved watching it, covering it, being around it. And to watch Ohtani last night, to watch Patrick Mahomes last night, what a treat. An absolute treat. All right, so we'll have phone calls coming up. The football game last night, not a lot to recap with that, but the Chiefs are now 5-3. And the Commanders, you start to look and you go, okay, we can't afford too many of those losses. Now, that's a loss that we expected even with Jaden Daniels. But you get to the halfway point, trade deadline. I think the Bills are going to be involved in the trade deadline. I think Dallas is going to try to be. There's a couple of teams that are buying. I'm not sure who's selling. That'll be interesting as well. All right. Let me see. Anything else that needs to be brought up? Yes, Paul.
I was thinking about Mahomes, his stats. The past couple of years, his stats have been different than his first 5 years. His first 5 years as a starter, he averaged 310 passing yards per game. The past 3 years, he's averaging 260 passing yards per game. His quarterback rating is the same. His efficiency, his completion. You just remove Tyreek Hill. They don't have the deep threat, or they don't try to go deep as much. But, it's less spectacular, but it's just as efficient.
But he changed defenses because they decided they weren't going to give up the big play. They were going to play, a shell kind of defense that won't let you get those big plays. Each of Kansas City's 5 wins this season have been by 13 or more points. Last year, they won a total of 3 games by 13 or more. So it's just a different Kansas City team. But that's kind of the beauty of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. How are we going to beat you? Okay, we're going to be explosive, to then all of a sudden we're just going to be methodical, to then we're going to be a defense and run first team, to now we're back to being explosive with those receivers. But the average margin of victory in Week 8 was 18.5 points. That's the most we've had since 2021, and the 4th largest of any NFL week since 2000. Stat of the day brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the Dan Patrick Show.